Hello, you beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 374. And this time, I'm actually in quite unusual location for this podcast and blog, because this project started and was ongoing mostly in Ireland for all those 374 days. And there was only small episode of about three days, I think, that in January I landed in Poland, but these were quite unusual too. And today we are again in Poland. Yesterday I already recorded video update with my son Julian in the evening while at home at my wife's parents. And today, as expected and as updated yesterday, we are in Wroclaw, which is in southern part of Poland. We drove for roughly about 3.5 hours, and my wife is currently in the clinic where we were expected to come and had the proper treatment that we were unable to get in Ireland within reasonable timeline. So I don't want to talk too much about it. It's a bit of sensitive stuff, but I already explained roughly the things that we are dealing with, and the treatment in Ireland. We were expecting the symptoms to be alleviated last time we visited the doctor. The visit was not very fruitful, and the timelines are ridiculous. So basically, my wife needs a scan of the muscles to check their signaling and see which muscles are overactive in the neck, and then to address them with the injection to slightly weaken them and allow her to use the rehab exercises and get back on track with her condition. And the problem is that we don't even have a date yet for the scan, and the placeholder or planned visit post that scan was scheduled for April 2024. So if you imagine a person being constantly having spasms and pain in the neck that pretty much debilitates, and the hospital is expecting her to wait for about 6-7 months, you can imagine it's ridiculous. I understand that there are different systems, healthcare systems around the world. There are people that wait for ages to be treated, and it's unacceptable regardless of the symptoms or the condition. Healthcare system is to help people. Not only conventional medicine is mostly maintaining the symptoms and conditions, but the timelines are ridiculous. And in many countries, like I believe in the US, for example, there's no public healthcare system, so you need to pay for everything. And people simply can't afford private insurance, and even private insurance companies are pretty much milking people because that insurance rarely covers everything. It usually just reimburses a partial payment for certain treatments, and you might not be eligible and learn about that after paying for a long time for that health insurance, and suddenly they will look into it and they will tell you, oh, no, that's not covered by your insurance. So these are ridiculous things that are happening around the world. And on top of that, the conventional medicine has a big problem with curriculum and doing or the education of those doctors. So a lot of parts of the systems are not updated for decades or longer. So doctors, despite the fact that medicine in general as a research field moved dramatically and we have a lot of new information and potential treatments, yet they are not accessible by most of the people, and most of the doctors are not even aware that these treatments are available or cannot prescribe them because of the system being so outdated. So this is something that needs addressing, and I don't see any hope on the horizon, albeit we see more and more doctors coming into the field that approach and learn medicine still within the, I would say, system, but there are some universities and medical schools that are progressing towards functional medicine, which is definitely a way to go, because functional medicine is basically a better word for holistic approach, where doctors are learning their specialized fields while maintaining other knowledge and learning more about the functional dependencies between those specific areas. So, for example, if the brain surgeon is learning the brain functions and brain structure, and he's or she is taught as well the functional impact of those things on other parts of the body, not only from neurological perspective, but also from physical perspective of the areas like cardiovascular system, hormonal system, etc. So this means that the doctors will have more to learn, but at the same time it will make sense because they will not have to learn it just to memorize it, but it will be connected with their field of expertise. So maybe, just maybe, in a decade or two, we will have more and more doctors that will be looking at you as a person and complex functioning organisms despite being specialized in the field. So it's very important because currently we have too many hospitals, doctors looking into just addressing the heart, for example, or just addressing the kidney. And I'm no doctor, so obviously I won't be able to tell you, and I don't have authority from the perspective of medicine to say anything specific or technical about those conditions or fields, but you don't have to be medical professional to understand that we are complex, and whatever happens to our system, be it to an eye, to our ear, or to our heart, it's not related just to the heart. There is multiple vectors taking part in any condition or illness that happens to us. It's never just a single vector that happens. Even if you have an accident and you happen to damage specific region of your body, yes, you need to address it as an emergency and do certain surgeries, but there is impact to that will happen to different areas of your body, not only that part that is damaged. And you don't have to be a doctor to understand that. You know it fairly easily that when you get a virus infection and you don't treat it properly, you will have lasting impacts of it, and aftermath of this in different parts of your body, and in different years it might express in different conditions. So, and it's just a virus infection or bacterial infection, not mentioning the thing that people don't care about their bodies for long years and decades, just to realize in the adulthood that, oh, I should have cared better about my body, because now this is damaged, or this is kind of, degenerating, and I won't be able to easily fix that or fix that, and I will need to go on drugs just to maintain it. So there's, while conventional medicine is a must for us and we need it, it needs updating and opening to the functional side of it. Also, we need a lot of knowledge which is happening on an academic level and research, so it can't be anymore rejected because it's not researched. It is researched. Things that I mentioned many times: fungi, which is mushrooms, different areas of plant-based medicine, and other areas that sounded ridiculous in the past but have been proven with a lot of different research. And I mean, like, not the sponsored research, but the research based on randomized, groups of people from different angles that confirm that there is something. Research to less or more extent to prove, or to be fully understood, that happens to work. And no longer we treat any herbal medicine or conventional medicine as a whole or the only area. We, as people on this planet, from both academic research and just general knowledge, we start understanding that all these things need to work together. They all support each other. And if you look from the perspective of harmony or yin and yang or anything in nature, it all complements each other. And we need that. So everything in life needs balance. And this is the balance that we are looking for. To combine some, maybe not folk medicine, but medicine that reaches very far without academic research, that is now being researched and proven working, with conventional knowledge and conventional medicine. So we use drugs and surgeries for emergency and reasons to keep people alive and stable to the point where they can be treated with other means that are actually curing us, not only maintaining our conditions to the bearable level. So there is a lot in that area, in that field, and it will be happening. It is happening, and I hope that our kids, our next generations, will be able to benefit from that. So this is exactly why we are here. We are here to address the thing that we were expected to wait. My wife was in pain and in ridiculous state where she couldn't properly stabilize her neck and do simple exercises or simple things in life. And she was asked to wait bloody 7 months to not be even sure if she will get that addressed and get any reasonable effects. And the worst part is that private care in Ireland is not very far from the public, because most of the doctors not only prefer to work in public care because they have access to amenities, they don't need to open their private practices and, buy gear and other expensive medical, stuff. Apologies for that technical term, to make sure that they can satisfy different scans and other treatments. So they piggyback on public systems, but at the same time, not only there is a limited access to private care of those professionals that are actually also doing private care, their capacity is at limits, and there's no queues, no waiting lists, because most of those conditions will be maintained. So when you have a patient unless they die or suddenly miraculously get recovered, there's no place to spare, because the doctor has only that capacity for private care, and that results in ridiculous waiting times, to the extent that actual healthcare system in Ireland has a cross-border directive agreed with European Union as well as with Northern Ireland, because the UK went through Brexit, but Northern Ireland is still included in cross-border directive, which means that if equivalent treatment available in Ireland is available abroad within the approved countries, and the GP, so the personal kind of family doctor, will refer to the relevant treatment abroad, it can be refunded. So there is money to support people. There is no resources, which government doesn't seem to be able to address. And believe me, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of good doctors abroad in different countries that would love to fly here and live here and support our healthcare system in Ireland. There just doesn't seem to be any program to support that or make it happen. So here we are, what was expected to happen in 7 months without even being sure to get the relevant injection to the muscle, we were able to sort out within a week and get virtual consultation with a doctor that is doing both public and private healthcare in the space of neurology and movement disorders and dystonia as well. She was able to not only, well, obviously not assess virtually, but at least talk to my wife and sacrifice as much time as needed for that consultation. The cost was a fraction, probably, or not even a full cost of the GP visit or in a private care in Ireland. With the specialist, I still want to highlight it. She was facilitating enough to tell us to find the plane tickets and the dates and then confirm with her. She organized the visit. So now my wife is in the clinic within the week's time, and everything will be done within the same day. So the scan and injection, if it is necessary, will be done today. So not only you have empathic doctor, facilitating doctor, but also treatment straight away. Of course, we need to pay for it, but we were willing to pay for that in Ireland, but the doctors are not available. So that's the problem, you know? And despite paying healthcare tax or, relevant contributions every single month, because I work on PAYE, which is basically, full-time job, which is taking my, not only my tax, but relevant contributions to the healthcare system. We can't get the proper healthcare. And a lot of people in Ireland are complaining. They are on the verge of blowing up because so many people are waiting for healthcare and there's no resources. So I hope that government does anything to satisfy that. But for now, this is where we are. So we flew yesterday. We had a good night's sleep. Julian stayed with parents-in-law, or with my wife's parents, and spent the day with them. We drove all the way to Wroclaw, which is about 300 kilometers. I'm waiting now for my wife to get treated, and we will eat something here and we will be driving back, so we'll be probably quite late in the evening or at night back home. We will spend probably 2-3 more days in there, and then we will be driving to my parents and my family area, and hopefully spend some relaxing days at lakeside where my parents have a little house. So I will be updating you from there. I will be recording next episodes probably in a week's time from there. So if you're the first timer here, head on to the blog. It's in the description if you're watching that on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple or whatever podcast. You can also find the link in the description. Is www.bluntforcehealing.com or simply bluntforcehealing.wordpress.com. This is the blog's address. It's more convenient to track it every day because I upload and write every day. So if you go there, it's conveniently structured the way that you read the blog, you have this update, the video, YouTube embedded into it, so you can watch it there and then continue reading the whole blog as a one single central point for that project to exist. And on top of that, if you're new to the project, this is a journal. So sometimes it might be not so exciting and slightly on the boring side, but usually I try to provide some value to the users, be it information or maybe some tricks or maybe some insights that I got from other professionals in different areas, from the books, from trainings, etc., or from my own experience. I'll see you soon. I hope to get to that cottage beside the lake because there's a lot of forest in there and we might find some interesting mushrooms. So stay tuned if you're interested in the mushroom space as well. In the meantime, it's 22 minutes at the moment. So thank you very much for coming in and watching until that point, if you did. I really appreciate your time. It was 22 valuable minutes of your time in your life that you could have spent on something elsewhere, but you spent it here. So I really appreciate that, and thank you very much for being here. I hope you will keep following the blog and podcast. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.